Do you remember the last day you took off? Really took off. Shut it down, didn't think about football, just took a day off.
I don't do a good job of shutting it down, I can tell you that. My wife is on me all the time, constantly about just turning it off and stepping away.
Last year, I understand, the players or somebody showed video of you when you were a player here during a team meeting. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
How did that go?
Players thought it was pretty funny. I mean, there's a couple clips, good and bad, because as a player, you learn real quick. You have good and bad plays. I think some of the players got a kick out of some sideline antics and flipping the ball up in the air, things they get chewed out for that maybe your coach does, and they realize that that I'm human as well, and that the things I'm getting on them for, I've gotten my butt chewed out for too.
You spent 9 years with Nick Saban at Alabama. Where do you think your career would be had you never spent those 9 years there?
To be part of the process, the 9-year process at Alabama, I think I learned a lot about building a program and holding people to standards and expectations, and Nick does a tremendous job of that. He develops coaches as good as anybody because it's not just about him. He's making decisions using his staff. He does a great job getting the most out of everybody in the organization. And if I had to say I took one thing from him, it would be that.
There's a chance you guys could play each other in a national championship. I know that's ahead, but is there part of you that would love that opportunity?
I'm worried about Oklahoma.
How did it come about that Bob Stoops talked to your team this past October?
He was actually coming to speak at the Athens Touchdown Club, and they have some pretty big name speakers come in there and speak. I've known Bob, I've met with Bob and defensive staffs when I was at Alabama, and thought it would be great for our players who recognize Bob Stoops as one of the best college coaches there's ever been to stand and talk to them and impart some of his values. And I thought I could learn too.
There's a certain irony in that, isn't there now?
Sure is. And I think you realize that in football, that it could happen anytime. I remember at Alabama, we met with Clemson one off season to go over different things, different ideas, because we don't play them. Then, of course, that next year we ended up playing them in a national championship game. So sometimes that happens.
If you were to win a national championship, would you finally take a day off the next day?
I don't think you can ever take a day off, because we're going to be in the process of hiring coaches. We're going to be in the process of recruiting. So I just don't think that a day off, completely shut down, is not what you want.